Yes, I think we can start. I'll just start by saying that thanks a lot, Akshata. Akshata and myself, we know each other for a long, long time, almost, I think 17 years, 17, 18 years. But yes, then we got in touch with each other, and so happy to see that from IT, she has taken a journey now towards Ayurveda and health. So here we are as part of our uh, uh, speaker series with Akshata, who will take us through her journey of how she has come out of thyroid issue that she had. Uh, Welcome, Akshata. The floor is all yours. By the way, hi, Sureka. Sureka is
Hi, Gitanjali.
yeah, joining from Pune, right? Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Yeah. Akshata, you can take on.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. As Gitanjali introduced me, my name is Akshita, and I have known her for many years. And it was just a miracle that I started Ayurveda as a career. It was never in the wildest of my dreams. As Gitanjali mentioned, I worked in IT. Um, Long story short, I knew about Ayurveda because growing up in India, uh, initially I wasn't familiar. I mean, I was familiar with Ayurveda, but really didn't believe, to be very honest. My dad was an engineer, so we had a very logical mindset, and I think many of you can relate to it, even in India today. Uh, at least when I was growing up, it was thought that Ayurveda was something for rural people and not for the educated one. It's more the mainstream medicine. The modern medicine is what we all believed in. But then my dad was diagnosed with advanced rheumatoid arthritis, and unfortunately, the modern medicine had no cure for it. And one of his distant cousin happened to say that there are natural modalities like Ayurveda, homeopathy, and why don't you give it a try? And my dad had no interest in natural lifestyle and never believed in it. But what he rationalized is okay, there is no cure in the modern medicine. At least we'll give it a try. I'm sure he went with a skeptical mind. We lived in Dharwad at that time. It's another suburb of Hubli, if people are aware. Um, so there was a person who practiced homeopathy, natural modalities, 80 plus years, and all the patients he had were from village folks, the rural folks. And it was really surprising to see how even a small ailment like flu to life-threatening diseases were being healed by him. I mean, he was very well known. So he interviewed my dad, and then he just gave one question: "Will you have faith in what I give?" And somehow, my dad just said yes. And from then on, it was a long roller coaster ride, like about 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. He was completely healed with rheumatoid arthritis. He had a heart condition that became normal on ECG. He was a high blood pressure. Everything normalized, just not his arthritis. That made a huge impact on my mind. I think I was 18 and a half years old then, that food can be medicine if you give it to your constitution. And that's what Ayurveda talks about is eat to your constitution, eat to your dosha. We'll talk about it as we, proceed along. Um, so that made a huge impact, and I think my journey to natural lifestyle was really started after my dad was completely healed from arthritis. And in my own life, when I moved to the US in 1996, I lost my parents after a few years, and I was the only child, and I went through a long grief period. And that's when I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. And the modern medicine again here wanted to put me on medication and hormones. I was just very reluctant, and I went dived deep into Ayurveda, natural lifestyle. And I just told my doctor, give me 2 years. If I'm not able to regulate it or heal myself from this disorder, then I can start the medication. So thanks to my guru, I'll introduce him shortly. With his blessing and with a very strict Ayurveda lifestyle, practicing yoga, I completely regulated my hypothyroidism without any medication or hormones. I also was into a long grief period, and when I came out of it, I realized there's a deeper purpose in life. And I was just intuitively directed to follow my passion, and that is Ayurveda, and to share it with the world. So that's when I stopped my IT career, jumped with all my feet, with both my hands, and started Ayurveda. And again, with my guru's blessing, it's been few years now, more than 10 years. I have been practicing Ayurveda. Mainly, my focus is on lifestyle disorders for women that they face in every phase of life. And all my consultations, my workshops are online on Zoom. And with his blessing, my gurus, I have clients worldwide. And this has been my passion to spread the scientific wisdom of Ayurveda to everyone. So my guru is Paramahansa Yogananda. Has anyone heard about him? I mean, he's the author of Autobiography of the Yogi. I mean, please raise your hands or speak
What
up.
did you say? Can you just repeat the name? Paramahamsa?
Paramahansa Yogananda, he's the author of the Autobiography of the Yogi. And Ishwarji, the headquarters is in Los Angeles. It's called a Self-Realization Fellowship. And in India, it is called as Yogda Satsanga Society, YSS. If I had internet connection, I would have shown my slides, and maybe looking at his
Okay.
face, you might have recognized it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Um,
I heard of it, but yeah, definitely. I think I definitely read about a little bit at least. Yeah.
okay, thank you. Um, so he's my guru, and I practice his scientific technique of Kriya Yoga. I have been doing it from 1996. Um, so the content today is talking to you from the lens of Ayurveda. What is thyroid health? Why we have hypothyroidism? Why we have hyperthyroidism? And what is
Maybe
the root cause?
you want to share the slide so that maybe Geetanjali can share it online.
See, that's what I never imagined my internet would go down.
Oh,
I don't
internet is
have it
down.
on my,
Okay.
yeah, that's
Okay.
why I'm using my cellular internet and coming
Oh,
on
I
the
see.
phone. I do have a deck, but
Okay. Okay.
unfortunately, I hadn't put it on my phone.
Oh, I see.
So I
Okay.
don't know how
Got
to
it.
put it now. So
Got it.
that's
Got it.
why I
Okay.
do
No
have
problem.
all the slides. So that's what has happened today.
Got
Maybe
it.
I'll
Got it.
share the deck once the internet is back and she can share it by email to all of
Yeah. Yeah.
you, or
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
put it on the website. So again, I'm very sorry I don't have the slides to show you. Um, so before I start on my Ayurveda information, what Ayurveda tells about thyroid, can anyone let me know? Anyone has thyroid here? Like, just want to get a feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Myself, I am actually hypothyroidism for many years. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's why
How
I'm
about
curious.
others? Are you on medication then?
Yeah, I'm on that. What is that? Thyroxil or some
Uh-huh.
medication. It's been few
Okay.
years now. Yeah.
How about others?
Ash, Akshita, like probably, like I think many people in India don't even know that they are suffering from thyroid, if I'm not wrong, right?
It is true, especially when it is subclinical hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism. The symptoms can be asymptomatic, or they might be having different issues like fatigue or weight gain or weight loss. But the main issue is lethargy, lack of focus. There is no mojo in life. And sometimes they say there's deficiency in vitamin D, or you might be deficient in vitamin B or
Correct.
something like that. Yes, they are not really diagnosed. See, I'm not very familiar with India, how it works, but I do have few clients from India. But here, what we do is we do have yearly preventative checkup, and I think Ishwar can
Yeah. Yeah.
support that. I mean, it is not that everyone goes, but it is encouraged, and they do a complete blood work panel. So they test our blood work for everything, for thyroid, for diabetes, for all the other lifestyle disorders. And that's when you come to know my hypothyroidism. I got diagnosed when I went for my yearly checkup. And that's when the blood report said you have hypothyroidism. But you're right, Gitanjali, most of them may not know, but I would encourage them to at least get it checked once in 2 years. Yearly, annually is the best, but we never know, especially when it is subclinical. It is best to figure it out then, because chances of healing it from a natural modality is almost 100%. The more years you put in onto the medication, it's not that you cannot regulate it or heal it, but it takes more time because it has turned into a chronic issue. Can you all understand? See, everybody's off the video now. I'm literally saying this on a blank screen. It would be nice if anyone comes on the video so I get some interaction, because it's just
No, no, no.
speaking to the
We are
wall
just,
here.
like, because sometimes what happens, it takes a lot of bandwidth. So,
Yeah.
so that we can have like smooth flow. That's the reason I switched off. No problem.
That's
No
right. Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
You
because
want
it feels, especially it's a small screen on my phone. So this is really interesting today. So I'm
Yeah.
so glad you all are so kind and patient. I really appreciate that. So good. And I didn't know if, so nobody's diagnosed other than Ishwarji? Okay, silence, I take it as no. So what happened is, before I tell you how I used Ayurveda and yoga to successfully heal my hypothyroidism, I just wanted to give a high level introduction on Ayurveda. So before I say that, I don't want to repeat something that you already know. So just please tell me if everyone is familiar with Ayurveda, or you want me to give you a high level introduction.
No, I have actually attended a couple of workshops in San Diego, and I have been following Ayurveda quite from a food perspective, practices perspective, Akshita. So, yeah, it has been helping me quite a bit. Yeah, I know, I've read about it. So, yeah,
Yeah, I think
Good.
all of us, at least, like, like what is Ayurveda, we know. Yeah, definitely.
correct, correct. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. It is the birthplace of India, right? Preaching to the
that's right.
choir.
Yeah.
So,
So,
Yes.
okay. So to understand hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism, I'll just touch on one aspect of Ayurveda. So we all are familiar with Vata, Pitta, Kapha doshas, right? I won't introduce that. So if you just see, Ayurveda is not black and white. I just want to stress that here. So if we say these are the symptoms, then you go this way. This is the symptom, it's go. It gives a generic idea, but it needs more experience. It needs more profiling the person to really understand the gray shades of life. If we even translate it to our own life, life is not black and white, right? We live in many shades of gray. Same is true with Ayurveda. Having said that, what I want to say is from, hold on one second, I'm moving my slides here. So if we look at thyroid gland, I'm not talking about modern medicine now. I'm just saying through the lens of Ayurveda. What is the thyroid gland? We know it's like it's the mother of the endocrine system, is what I like to call it, because it regulates pretty much everything. Every function of the cell is responsible. Thyroid gland is responsible for how we look at life, how we interpret life, every emotion that comes to us, good or bad, everything we intellectually analyze in life, thanks to thyroid gland. It is so important. And from a yogic perspective, it is called as the communicator gland, meaning this is the medium where we interact with the inner and the outer world. And that's why it is so important. If we see people, I can take myself as an example. When I was going through hypothyroidism, I went into quite a bit of depression, because this is the one that regulates the mood. life didn't look very colorful for me. I had also had been through a long grief period. It just left, I lost the rasa in life. They say in Ayurveda, the rasa, it is the enthusiasm, the motivating factor in life. You lose it. So anything you start on, you don't really finish it, or you don't really accomplish the way you want. You don't live the life to the potential you are meant to live. So the thyroid gland is crucial. It governs our emotion. I like to call it, it is the truth gland. I mean, when I look back, my self expression, my self confidence, and I say it with a capital S, was deeply impaired. I lost my expression in life. I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't have my foundation. Everything was shaking. So, if any one of you can relate to it, you know how bad it can be. Outwardly, people might not feel anything with a thyroid person. They may look good, they may also look healthy, but it's more inside. It is the manomai kosha, it is the subtle realms that are impacting, and the life really starts feeling meaningless. And I've seen clients who come to me, they go to that extent of suicidal tendencies. And that can happen with thyroid gland. So it is very, very important. We cannot take it lightly. So now coming to, there are only two things that happen with thyroid generally, hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. I want to briefly touch on those and then ask questions. All doshas are impacted, okay, from the lens of Ayurveda. Vata, Pitta, Kapha, all are impacted when there is an imbalance in life. Classical Ayurveda never tells anything as a disease, And even if you break the word dis-ease, what is it? You're really not in ease, That is what it is. It doesn't look it like something massive. You can at the most call it as a disorder. So if we take into consideration hypothyroidism, it is mainly a kapha vata imbalance. What do I mean by that? You all know what is kapha, right? Kapha is made up of what? Of the five panch mahabhutas, it is made up of earth and water. And vata dosha is made up of air and ether. So these two doshas really play the drama in hypothyroidism. So what is the quintessential characteristics of kapha? It makes you heavy, it makes you lethargic, it makes you lack in motivation. So it is all water and earth, so it's the heavy material. It makes you a couch potato. You just start losing rasa. That is the kapha. Vata, it makes your mind go like a kite, wherever the wind flows, the kite flows, right? So the mind can be erratic, restless. You might have a lot of worry. You might just get nervous all of a sudden. So that is the play of vata. And the digestive fire, as you all know, Ayurveda, it is the Agni. The foundation of Ayurveda is you should have strong digestive fire no matter what happens in life. You want to have a good life, you should have digestive Agni strong. You want to have a good marriage, you have to have good Agni. You want to have a good career, you want to have a good Agni. Everything that we do in this life is dependent on our digestive fire. In fact, it is termed as the god in Ayurveda because that is what really stirs to do anything in life. That unfortunately becomes weak and sluggish during hypothyroidism. So you won't be able to eat what you were eating all your life. I am a chapati person. I love chapatis, okay? But when I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, I just couldn't digest wheat for some reason. It was very heavy for me because the digestive agni was low. So I had to go on a gluten-free diet. It's not for everyone, but most of the people in my own experience, when I get clients, it is not for hyperthyroidism, but for hypothyroidism, there is an issue digesting gluten, and that's mainly wheat. And please share your experience if you all have had that. And weight gain, you do experience increase in weight. And for women, the estrogen hormone increases when you have hypothyroidism, and estrogen is directly connected with kapha dosha. So even that hormone imbalance creates weight gain and things, issues in your menstrual cycle and things like that. If we look at hyperthyroidism, the main doshas, again, I said all doshas are impacted, but the main doshas that really get impacted in hyperthyroidism is pitta and vata. You know, pitta is the fire element. It is the ambition dosha. It is go-getter. All the leaders have pitta in them. So that ambition is really killed when you have hyperthyroidism, or it is overactive. They are unnecessarily restless. They are multitasking but going nowhere. They are just running, running, running. It feels like their life is running like at a 90 miles an hour on a treadmill. So that is hyperthyroidism, and they have racing heart. They are very anxious. Heart palpitations are very common, and the digestive fire, Agni, is overactive. It's called as Tikshna Agni in Ayurveda. Like they may get hungry very often. They might have a lot of acidity issues, acid reflux, things like that. And they may lose weight in hyperthyroidism because of that Agni being overactive. They might lose weight. See, these are all generic. It doesn't mean they have to. When I had hypothyroidism, I didn't gain weight. In fact, my weight was normal. In fact, I even lost weight if I worked out a little. So, and general weakness and fatigue are generally there both in hyper and hypothyroidism, because thyroid gland is the one that is the energy booster. So the energy is definitely impacted. So I just wanted to give a high level overview from the lens of Ayurveda. When a person comes with hyper or hypothyroidism, we look into the doshas of pitta vata for hyper and kapha vata for hypothyroidism. the the reason I have stuck with Ayurveda for so many years, you know, my dad was healed from his arthritis when I was 18 and a half years old. All these years, I've stuck with natural lifestyle. Ayurveda I have embraced is because there is no suppression in Ayurveda. The word suppression is not in the Ayurveda dictionary. It likes to point you at the root cause and pull it out so that you don't get it again. Having said that, that doesn't mean that, let's say, you get healed from hypo or hypothyroidism and then you go back to your original lifestyle of eating junk food, not exercising, you know, then there is no guarantee that you won't have it again. But the potential of Ayurveda is it points you to the root cause, it identifies and helps you to root it out from the root cause. And in my experience, on my own and also with the clients I meet, the root cause always lies in the manomycosia. It is very subtle. It, you know, if you go to the modern medicine, they'll look at the blood report. They'll say, okay, hypo. They'll look at your T3, T4, TSH. They'll look at your antibodies. They'll say if you have Hashimoto's or Graves' disease. That's all diagnosed on a very surface, superficial level, and the medication is administered, and they say you have to take it for life. It never cures it. The dose starts increasing, but the thyroid just keeps getting worse. And there are many side effects. Major one is arthritis. Like so many of my friends who are on our thyroid medications have osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. It also affects your heart and liver because the medication is quite strong when you take it for a long term. So it doesn't, it at the most it suppresses it, but the dose is increased, it fluctuates a lot. With Ayurveda, it is different. It finds the root cause. And I'll just share my own story. When I look back, I was pretty healthy, but when I lost my parents, being the only child, I was very attached to them. When I went through the long grief period, the grief affects the thyroid gland. Even the naturopathy says that. In fact, I even went to a naturopathy doctor because you cannot. Even the mainstream doctors don't treat themselves. I didn't want to first when I was diagnosed. I said, let's go to a naturopath doctor and see. She didn't care about all the reports. What she asked is, what major life events have happened in your life? And when I said I lost my parents within the span of 2 years, first my mother, then my dad, that's when she got it. And she said, heal that grief, you will heal your thyroid. And that's exactly what happened. So the root cause, especially for thyroid, I said, is this communicator gland. It's the one that, you know, really responsible for your emotions in life. Introspect, contemplate, and see what is the root cause in you. And there's a difference between stress and fatigue. Everyone says thyroid is a lifestyle disorder, just like blood pressure and diabetes is today, and can be healed. And I say, okay, just control your stress. But I want to say there's a difference between stress and fatigue. Have you ever thought about it? Fatigue is when you work hard, you work long hours, you've put everything into it. Gitanjali works long hours. I know she's always late up at night, WhatsApping me and all. Long hours creates fatigue. That's okay. That can be rejuvenated, replenished. But stress is different. Have you observed what is stress? Stress is the expectation, we put on every activity. This presentation has to go very good. If I have an expectation, that's the stress. And if it doesn't work out the way I had expected, it's much deeper stress. So stress is bad. Fatigue is not bad. In fact, we need to work out every day mentally, physically to keep us healthy. We are not designed to sit on the couch, right? So always understand what are your stress markers, like what expectations you have in life. Are they realistic? Contemplate and just find what you want to achieve in life and not what the society and the people around you are influencing you. And that is very crucial. I always dig deep into this to figure out the root cause in my clients, because thyroid is just a byproduct. There is a reason why it happened, and we need to find out what the reason is. And there can be grief, there can be loss of a loved one, loss of financial difficulty, anything, anger. If you have a lot of anger stored in your heart, shame of something you've done, loneliness, deceit, something that you need forgiveness from someone or you need to forgive someone, all those carry very heavy weight, and that can manifest into thyroid disorders. So the root cause is always in the monomycosia, and I really want to emphasize that it can be said, oh, you're eating junk food, you're working long hours. Yes, those all have to be corrected, but that is not the root cause. The root cause is something very much inside the head in the manas. So I just wanted to stress that a lot. Before I keep continuing, I would like to ask, does this make sense? Can you relate to this? Are there any questions, any experiences to share?
Yes, yes, of course. I think this is a new viewpoint. You can see, like we always talk about stress, and we never thought about fatigue, right? So we always, yeah, it's a different way of looking at things.
Yeah, stress. Yeah, I have been meditating for the last almost 10 to 12 years to actually manage the stress and manage and it has helped me a lot uh,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that is, as you said, much more energetic, positive outlook rather than. So managing the stress, I've worked on it, and I think I have been able to contain my stress management quite well in the last few years since I started meditating and practicing regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
And also the fatigue and stress, I definitely can correlate, and I can see the difference as you are spending more and more years. You can definitely see on a daily basis when fatigue happens in a, based on your activity, whereas stress is more on the thoughts, isn't it? The
Mm-hmm.
thoughts are triggering your stress. And
Exactly.
yeah.
So true. So true. Because, it is, that is the irony of life is like the more we invest in, the expectation comes with it. It is the two sides of the same coin. If you're very passionate on a project, you put your heart and soul into it, and then not have any expectation, just let it flow, whatever the outcome, is very hard to accept. Like just today, take this as an example. In all my lives of living in the US for 20 plus years, I have never had an internet outage when I'm giving a workshop, right? But just go with the flow. If I had an expectation I'm going to do amazing, I would be like stressed out. It's like, okay,
I
I'm just
yeah,
surrendering it to
I
my
told
guru.
yeah, when she told me, I said, don't, it's okay, like let's talk. You just speak. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
exactly.
it is not there, let's go around. And anyway, it will be shared, so it's not a issue at all.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's more
yeah.
about the message, isn't it?
Yeah,
Not about the. Yeah,
yeah,
correct. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
But
how
in
did you come?
everyday
I mean,
life,
yeah,
yeah,
sorry,
go ahead,
sorry.
Gitanjali.
No, no, no.
No,
I'm
please go ahead.
interested in knowing, like, how did you overcome? What are the things that you helped you overcome thyroidism?
Yeah, that's what I'm coming to at now. Um, so these will look very basic for a person who is not practicing Ayurveda. And they might say, oh, these are so lame. I mean, will this heal something? But they are very important and they look very simple and humble. But when you practice it every day, you will see the results for yourself. Power lies in practice. And now I want to talk about daily routine in Ayurveda, and that is called as dinacharya. What you do daily routine is very crucial. So what Ayurveda says, irrespective of anything that is happening in your life, any disease, any mental, physical, any disorder, any disease, it comes to the same basic principles. Is fix your life, everything gets fixed. Even with my father, they didn't really go to heal arthritis. They healed him as a whole being, including the mind and the body. And same is true with me. When I started diving deep, introspecting, I figured out, yes, my grief was the main thing that was really, making me not live the life I want to live. So coming back to the daily routine, what Ayurveda prescribes is get up, just follow the sun as the principle. You get up at before sunrise, you know, and then start with your neti. I don't have to tell you what neti is here. We have to explain. It's getting quite popular in the US as well. But do your nostril cleaning, scrape your tongue, do abhyanga, it is the oil massage. And also at night before going to bed, do the soul massage. If you know, it is called as Pad Abhyanga, means, massaging your feet with oils, putting oil in your ear, putting oil in the nose, taking some sort of exercise, walking, especially sunrise walks and sunset walks are the best to fix your hormones, to balance them. Nature really balances us. It's the best medicine, but we need to know how to use it. And just doing it like for a week or 2 weeks, you may not see the result. Do it for 1 year, do it at least for 6 months, and you will start seeing tangible results. Nature is the biggest healer, and any natural modalities you take, Ayurveda, homeopathy, naturopathy, herbalism, any field, they will always say nature is the mother, nature is the healer. Um, in this COVID time, I think Ayurveda really became very popular, especially even here in the US. I speak with a lot of Ayurveda doctors. My learning still continues, and they are the top Ayurveda doctors in India. We come on Zoom, and they used to say the patients, even who were on ventilators and their oxygen was so low, and the mainstream medicine doctors almost lost hope. So many of them were moved to Ayurveda clinics and they saved their lives just by administering Ayurveda herbs. And now, the most preventative, I think you all might have heard about the Ayush principles, the protocols for COVID. They say put oil in the nose, put oil in your ears. Whenever I go, I mean, I do wear my masks, but sometimes I don't, depending on how severe the, what is it called, the variant is going on, right? Right now in Los Angeles, it is again soaring up, so we may have to mask again. But when I'm interacting with people and I don't have mask, I just oil. I put ghee in my nose because, and then go. I put oil in my ears. It might feel very humbo jumbo, not non-scientific to the modern mind. If I look at Akshata when she's in her early 20s, she would say, "Oh, what's this? This is all BS." But no, why? Ghee, it is a fat. That fat they have studied now neutralizes when the virus enters because the virus, the outer covering is fat. So when the outer covering of the virus fat meets with your fat of the ghee, it really neutralizes right in your nostril. It doesn't go in. So those are such simple measures we can use. And it also helps you to keep healthy. So putting ghee in the nose is so, I mean, once you start putting it, you'll realize you breathe more deeply, you breathe more fresh. And I do that every day. Putting oil in your ears, like sesame oil, is so good. I did that. Now, coming to the diet, any questions there? Again, I don't see anyone, so it is a little bit of mm, I don't understand. I don't see if people are getting it, how it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course,
Uh,
like actually, maybe these days, it some of the ENT physicians may say that no, why you are putting oil into your ear? But I think all of us grew. I mean, I'm from an ear. I mean,
mhm.
those times when putting oil into your ear is like a practice. Like once a week. Before you take your hair bath. Like my mother used to put so yeah, I think
We had in our school, I remember back in India when I was schooling in, we had a weekly oil bath.
yeah.
So
Mm,
all the kids we were supposed to have oil bath, and we used to be given gingerly. We used to call it as a
Mm,
gingerly oil at that time, or sesame oil, same thing.
yes,
And we get in a katori each person, and we go and apply the oil all over the body, and we play for another 1 or 2 hours, and then come back and have the
yeah,
bath. That used to
yeah,
be the practice, but we never knew that it was Ayurvedic practice. It was one of the things in our
yes.
hospitals
correct,
that was
correct.
encouraged. Yeah.
Yeah. But now actually doctors dissuade you from doing that. I remember when I took my daughter to something happened and my mother, she was with my mother, so my mother like used to do the same thing. She used to put oil to her hair, but doctor said no, you should not do that.
Yeah, yeah. Even here they don't. So most of them, that's why, if I had shared my deck, I have to put all that. This is not a medical advice. And when the clients come to me, I have to get all this signed because what you're saying, it is sad because, Ayurveda, yoga all originated in India, but still the modern medicine doesn't acknowledge us. It really saddens me. But even
But
here in the
s-
US, yeah,
some
go ahead.
doctors do recommend Gitanjali. Even regular children specialists here, they just say
Oh,
put 1 drop of oil. I know my
oh,
daughter when she was growing up, they said just put 1 drop of oil.
okay, that's
When she had the tight, when it gets very,
mm-hmm.
inside the wax gets very tight, and some sort of a stiffness happens. They
Mm,
feel it best. So they said just put in 1 drop of oil. Yeah. So
mm-hmm.
it's all depends on how the doctors are learning,
Correct,
because
correct.
they call it as now holistic functional
Mm,
medicine, they
Mm-hmm.
call it. When somebody is educated on functional medicine, as Achita was saying, they are treating as a holistic, not as one single organ, one system alone in isolation. They don't treat.
mm,
You got to treat it as a whole system. Body is a whole system. So yeah, it all
correct.
depends on the doctors who are.
Mm. Yes,
Yeah, even
Akshata.
here, like when I go to I have to go to a mainstream medicine, right, for our annual checkup and all. I prefer now the natural lifestyle has taken on a so big even here in the US. Like even the mainstream doctors, they do put in their profile that they are open to natural remedies or things like that. I seek out people like that and I go there so that when I tell them that I practice Ayurveda or I, use Ayurveda herbs, they don't look at me like I'm an alien, because
Actually,
there is a lot
Achita,
of resistance.
actually, lot of MD doctors come for Ayurveda workshops, attend weekend workshops, and they take back what is the best practice, they understand all of this Vata, Kapha, and imbalance, and how they should combine Ayurveda with their traditional medicine. And it is a hybrid type of environment they are creating, the treatment they are creating actually. And that's how I attended two of the workshops where all of them were doctors, and I was the only one of them, actually engineer joined them actually. That's how
Here in the
I
US?
joined this. Yeah, yeah, in San Diego. Yeah, Maharshi Ayurveda
Oh, okay.
organizes these yearly workshops for doctors actually, medical
Oh,
practitioners.
that is nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very nice, very happy. That's why there is a slow shift. See, I live in Arizona. California is a little ahead in natural living, right? You can relate
Yeah,
to that. But
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about the rest of the US because California has always been a proponent of natural lifestyle. Uh, but here, and especially in the East Coast and things like that, that hybrid model is slowly people are incorporating because a lot of people are really tired of all the side effects the medications have given them. I mean, all the other lifestyle disorders that come with it. It's really opened the eyes of people, and they are open to even applying oil in their nose, in their ears. Applying oil in your head is with such a new concept here in the US. And with the COVID, everything has changed. People are okay, I would rather do this than fall sick. And this also helps me. It helps my hair, it keeps it good, it makes it thick, lustrous, even on the skin. They just knew putting lotions. They never wanted to put oil on their hair. That was so simple, but very new concept here. So thank you, Ishwarji, for bringing that up. The hybrid concept is coming up. And I think the same, even in the bigger cities in India, it is pretty much the same like here. I feel I talk with a lot of medical doctors in India. There is so much resistance to Ayurveda. But once the COVID hit and the people were being saved by Ayurveda, everybody has opened their eyes. And I feel there's been a huge respect to Ayurveda because of the COVID. And there was a blessing in disguise, is my feeling. Coming to Ayurveda herbs, what I generally took, I don't know how familiar you all are. See, I had them in my slides. Now I just will be speaking them out. If you want, I can spell it to you. First thing I would say, if you are hypo or hyper, doesn't matter. You know amla, right? Everybody knows amalaki or amla. It is the highest vitamin C from the plant kingdom. It is a rejuvenator and an amazing detoxifier. Again, it feels very simple, but in Ayurveda, the concept is whatever the herb is, it is customized to your cellular level, right? Ayurveda is not one size fits all. So taking example of an amla, if you combine it with something that is compatible for your constitution, it works like a medicine. The same amla, if you take it with a wrong accompaniment, it can create side effects. So they say Ayurveda, yoga are all natural. There are no side effects. Yes, it won't give you arthritis or anything, but it can imbalance your dosha. Meaning you can get more, like let's say you're a vata dominant person and you take amla, just amla with warm water. Amla has a drying effect. If anyone has taken amla powder, it has a drying effect to it. So when you take drying effect, it increases your vata. So if you have bloating issues and you've been taking amla, it will increase your bloating issues. It won't reduce it or heal it. So it is called as anupana. The accompaniment that goes with any herb is very important. And that's why they say it is customized to cellular level. I am a pitta kapha personality. So when I take amla, I either take it with honey or I take it with warm water. So if you have a hypo or hyperthyroidism, I would say if you don't have any pitta imbalance, like there's no heat issues, you're not getting any hot flashes, there is no acidity in the stomach and things like that, you can take amla and honey first thing in the morning after you brush your teeth on an empty stomach. Take it for a few months. It will start to balance a lot of things in your body. It will help you to have a clean bowel system. Another thing I want to point out, whenever people have hypo or hyper, the bowels are not very good. They don't clean out very well. So things like this help. And even taking trifla at night. Are you all familiar with trifla?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Okay.
I'm
Even
familiar.
trifla is okay. So amalaki and honey is very good. Another herb that really helps with thyroid is Kanchanar gugulu. Has anyone heard of that? Okay, Kanchanar is another herb. Gugulu is a raisin. So these not only help your thyroid, it helps to balance your kapha. It removes all the sluggishness in your lymphatic system that happens a lot during hypothyroidism. That's why there is water
What is the
retention and
name?
things.
I mean, what is the English name?
That is the name, Kanchanar gugulu.
Oh, okay. Sounds like some
Okay,
Telugu.
no, no, that Google, if you remember, they put Google when they do artsy. There is camphor and there is a Google when you do artsy. Remember?
Uh-huh.
Uh, so that it's called Googla in Kannada, I think.
Acha.
Um, but that is the same reason that's used in Ayurveda in all the herbs. It's called Guglu. It is Kanchan or Guglu. If you Google it, it's very
Okay.
popular. Then Guduchi. I think Guduchi, everybody might know Giloy because that was very famous during COVID to build your immune system. Take Giloy, but Giloy has just amazing benefits. If you start writing benefits on Giloy, you'll make a book easily. That also helps to regulate your thyroid gland. So basically, what you're trying to teach the body is, especially when you have antibodies, like Hashimoto's or Graves, it is attacking the thyroid gland. Your own immune system is attacking the thyroid gland, saying it's a foreign body, I have to protect you. We have to rewire it, and these herbs are miraculously doing it. You have to just have patience and you have to practice it. Power lies in practice. So it will understand. The herbs are so intelligent. Herbs in classical Ayurveda, certain herbs are said that it has been directly given from the astral world. So they have intelligence built in it. So we have to take it with faith. That is another important thing I want to mention here. Just don't take it like popping a pill or something like that. Every herb, even today when I take it with reverence. Take it with, having faith in it. You might believe in a guru, you might believe in a god, or even if you're an atheist, just believe that this is going to heal you. That is very important before you take it so that it starts working its magic inside. So basically, what you are trying to teach by taking the Ayurveda herbs is stop attacking the thyroid gland. It's your gland. It's not an enemy that you have to attack. Especially the antibodies, they start coming down. Uduchi, Giloy, Amla, and then eating to your body constitution is very important. My last quote I had in my slide is, when diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is of no need. So that is one of the classical Ayurveda proverb is like, if you eat right to your constitution, Ayurveda says the food itself can become medicine and it can heal you and keep you balanced. It's not just being healthy, it is also feeling fulfilled in life, having that rasa, just seeing your report, everything is normal, all your blood work is normal if your doctor says, but mentally you're just, you know, not happy, negative. You don't feel happy for others, you don't feel happy for yourself. That is not healthy in Ayurveda. In fact, the definition of health in Ayurveda is very, very deep. Let me see where my slide is. I'll just repeat that. One whose all three doshas are in balance, appetite is wholesome, digestion is strong, all body tissues are functioning favorably, excretion is regular, and mind is in a state of bliss in tune with the spirit. That is health in Ayurveda, just not a normal blood report. So it goes quite deep and it emphasizes the mind, and ultimately it is the mind that really functions all the body, right? We look at very successful people, be it in athletics, academics, entertainment, any field, you will always see a very successful person having a very positive mind. And I think it's the mind that really dictates our life. So that is very important. In fact, even my guru says it is through the thoughts, it is through the mind that the disease enters. It is not the infection of viruses and bacteria. We allow it to enter. And that is very deep. So we have to make sure our mind is kept healthy every day. And Ayurveda works wonders in keeping the mind healthy. So talking about the diet now, the food, making it as a medicine, in our modern nutrition and all, we have daily allowances, recommended daily allowances, eat this much calories, eat this much protein, carbs, fat, and everything. Ayurveda came up with a very simple strategy of 6 tastes. And are you all familiar with those 6 rasas? Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, astringent.
Yeah,
Familiar?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. We are familiar.
So it says eat all these 6 days to keep a complete nutritious meal. So when you have hypothyroidism, I said it is a kapha vata disorder. So what should the diet mainly be? It should have more of the bitter. It should have more of the astringent qualities. The bitter and the astringent does imbalance vata though. When you bring sweet and salty, because that helps vata, that will increase kapha. So it is a very thin balance, how to make sure you eat not to disrupt the kapha and not to disrupt the vata, but at the same time balance it. So when I had hypothyroidism, I went out of wheat completely for 2 years. Okay. It took me almost 2 years to completely regulate my hypothyroidism. The reason I went out of wheat was not out of fashion or I wanted to be gluten free. I really couldn't digest it. So if you can't digest wheat, take it out. Just because it's a trend. In the US, it is gluten free. Wheat is bad. Everyone in India, everybody in the world is taking out wheat just because it's no longer the cool thing. Don't do that. Wheat is very important to us. In Ayurveda, it is called as Godama, it is referred as the mother of grains. It is important, but we need to eat natural, organic, no chemical one. But I took out wheat. I took out also goitrogens. Are you familiar with goitrogens? Those are the cruciferous vegetables, that interfere with the thyroid hormone secretions like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, bok choy. I did have cauliflower and cabbage though because I like them, but I didn't eat them raw. I eat them cooked. And I paste them. Like if I had a cauliflower dish on Monday, I would have a cabbage maybe on a Wednesday or a Thursday. I did pace it out and eat moderately, but cruciferous vegetables do impact on our thyroid gland. So I did reduce them a lot. Ayurveda strictly says don't eat anything raw when you have thyroid disorders. No salads. Because when you eat raw, you need very strong digestive fire to digest it. And when we have hypothyroidism, especially, the digestion is very weak and we won't be able to digest it. And that creates more toxins in the body, even though you're eating a healthy salad. So does that make sense? Taking out crucifers, especially bok choy and broccoli, they are very heavy to digest, plus they interfere with your thyroid hormone secretion. I did include a lot of vitamins. I included selenium. I included a lot of vitamin B, all the B vitamins. I did have a good multivitamin. They say coconut oil also helps, but for me, it didn't help. It really didn't help at all. Coconut oil didn't do anything for me. So try it. I mean, because it has good, what is it called? Medium chain triglycerides. So it is good for the thyroid gland, but for me, for some reason, didn't work. As I said, it's not like one size fits all. We have to do a little bit of a trial and error to see how your body accepts it, how your mind accepts it. So I had a lot of jawar roti. I ate a lot of greens. I ate a lot of cooked spinach. So my meals were highly nutritious. I also had juice. I used to make apple, kale, and dandelion greens, and all organic. I just had like an 8 ounce or a 6 ounce glass juice. So putting very high nutritious meal is important, but that high nutritious meal should be in accordance to your body constitution. If you're eating high nutrition meal, but it is against your constitution, against your dosha, that itself will create toxins, and that indigestion creates a havoc in the system. So we have to make sure we eat food that we can digest, especially during the thyroid phase, because you cannot take chances with your digestion. Only when you digest and assimilate, things can get out of your body, because detoxification is necessary. And classical Ayurveda says, be it hyper or hypothyroidism, fix your digestion first, it will fix you. And that is so true to me. My digestion suffered a lot when I went through hypothyroidism. I had a strong digestion, having a pitta dominant, but boy, I know how it was. Uh, so eating foods for your body constitution is crucial. If you have any questions on food, please ask. I can I want to keep it more interactive rather than me keeping talking, because only when you ask questions it gets into your head. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe we'll have to now go a little faster. But yes, what I'm, like I want to know is, so you used to cook them or like eat raw? Because you said some of the stuff you used to eat, I mean cooked, right? So which are the things I mean, you suggest that one should eat raw, and which are the food which preferably you can cook and eat?
See, I would say take raw out of your diet fully, even if you're hypo or hypo. The raw, what I said was I did juice. So juice is different than smoothie. I'm not saying smoothie. A smoothie, you include fiber in it, and that becomes really bad for your digestive fire. Especially, I would strongly recommend don't do any smoothies when you have thyroid, because it cannot digest it. Smoothies become very heavy, especially here in the US. They love to take smoothie first thing in the morning. The breakfast is a smoothie. They put everything in it, all the greens, fruits. They put protein powder. They put all um, honeybee wax, all the the honey pollen, all that, they make it one mixed dish. The body just gets all confused and throws it out. There is no assimilation happening. If you were to do raw, just do juice, I say. Do a green juice and have it like small, not a whole lot. 6 ounce, max 8 ounce. I used to have it as an afternoon snack. Keep time between, at least 2 hours before your meal. Don't take a juice and then eat something. That won't work. Have it after your lunch, and a snack. I mean, at least 2 hours after your lunch, and at least hour and a half before another meal. So in that span, have a juice. And yeah, I would say eat home cooked meals, uh, low on sodium. Another thing is iodine deficiency is what they say for hypothyroidism. Even that doesn't really hold true, because it is not iodine. The body knows how to collect it. Unless you're really on a horrible diet, you won't get iodine. But if you were to take iodine, I would say don't go for that iodized salt or anything. Include Himalayan salt or senda namak, what they say in India. But if you need iodine instead of supplements, go for sea vegetables like kelp. I did eat kelp, like I had kelp chips, or I would bring sea vegetables and cook it in my soup. They do smell a little off. If you're vegetarian like me, you won't like the smell, but that is a bioavailable source of iodine rather than supplementing it, and you immediately get it. Another one I would like to say, I forgot to say in my nutrition when I said multivitamins, I included L-tyrosine as another amino acid. You get it all natural here in the US. I don't know about India. I'm sorry. That is another amino acid that helps to convert the T4 into T3 hormone. And that too I had taken. It's called L-tyrosine. I don't know if anyone wants to make a note of it.
L thyroid. What did you say? Can you just
L-tyrosine.
thyrosin? Okay. And this is what it's a
It's an
supplement
amino acid. Yeah, it's
amino
a
acid.
supplement. See, that is naturally occurring in our beans and legumes and things like that. But when you have hypo, or especially hypo, this really doesn't work for hypothyroidism. The body doesn't know how to extract the L-tyrosine from the foods you eat. It gets lazy or it is impaired. So you give that L-tyrosine directly into the body so that it knows how to convert the T4 into T3. Uh, but now I don't take it. Once you come out of it, you don't need it. Body learns to make it. The body makes all these amino acids on its own, but
Correct.
it has forgotten, or since it's getting attacked, it is deficient. So that is also one important thing. What else I need to say? Yeah, eating right meals. I have seen, even though Ayurveda yoga have come from India, I meet with my family, I meet with my friends. The lifestyle is quite disrupted with our modern lifestyle. Especially now everybody is working remotely. So they have breakfast at their own leisure, lunch at their own time, or they skip meals. Skipping meals is another big thing. Don't do that, please. Having dinner late night at 9, 10 o'clock. Ideally, Ayurveda says have dinner before, just after sunset or before sunset. So ideally by 8 p.m. For India, it is too early if I say have dinner at 6, 7, but at least finish it by 8 p.m. So that when you're sleeping, your food is digested. Give 3 hours before you sleep. Those all feel very simple, but that really keeps the whole body functioning properly. If it doesn't function, then it manifests into diseases like thyroid. And at least have 6 to 7 hours of sleep. And ideally, Ayurveda says, see, everything is written in the scriptures. It is every activity we perform here on planet Earth is written. We just have to know how to follow it. By 10 p.m., you should be sleeping, not go to bed. You should be sleeping. Is anyone hearing that? So that is once in a while, if we are up late hours, is okay. What happens is when you are sleeping very late, the pitta increases at night, that increases to help to digest the food we eat. If we are in the way of the digestion, the pitta spikes something else, you won't have a clear mind when you get up. You might have acidity, you might have, acid reflux, things like that. It says sleep by 10 p.m. Get up early. Get up. The best period is Brahma Muhurta, between before sunrise. But at least get up at sunrise, like 5, 5:30, whatever the sunrise is at your time. Just doing, in fact, one of the sutras in Ayurveda is just following one sutra. Getting up before sunrise itself will bestow you the boon of longevity, because that Brahma Muhurta is very powerful. And I think I'm again preaching to the choir. India knows about it. We feel different when we get up early, right? The creative energy is so powerful. It is hard to think negative thoughts during Brahma Muhurta. And if you are thinking negative thoughts, that means you're chronically imbalanced. If there's a wake up call, get yourself balanced. But generally speaking, our negativity or wrong way of thinking starts when the sun peaks up, at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. That's when we start getting angry on people, getting frustrated on things. But at 4:35, the whole nature is still calm. It is just waking up, the birds are chirping, everything is a new day, a new life. I think waking up at that time really helps to, balance the hormones, increase our energy and metabolism. So simple things like this. And in your meal, keep the lunch the biggest meal of the day. Eat light dinners. That is also very important during thyroid. Because as I said, the digestive is sluggish. If you give big meals at night, it is very hard. Rajma is something I didn't eat. Rajma interferes with hypothyroidism. And even avocados, berries like strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, if you are eating in India, those all have, I forget the word what it is. It interferes with the thyroid hormone. They are like goitrogens, but there's another word for it. I don't recollect it right now. But Rajma is a big thing. If anyone has a hypothyroidism, take Rajma out, you will see a huge difference. Eat a bowl of rice, have nice dal. Um, the one I ate a lot was kala chana. If you know, not the, we call it garbanzo beans here. What is that called? Ishwarji, help me. What is that chana that we make with hummus? What is that called?
Yeah, we got
Is it the Kabuli chana?
yeah,
Ha,
Kabuli
yes,
chana. Yeah, Kabuli chana.
Kabuli chana also is not good, but kala chana is good.
Mhm.
The black one, the dark
The black one,
covered.
because Kabuli chana, what it does, it increases mucus in the body. So when it increases mucus in the body, it increases kapha. So we have to balance kapha and vata when you have hypothyroidism. So anything that is mucus building, like avocados, even the fat should be low. I used to eat ghee. I mean, eat good A2 ghee, but moderately, because you need it to balance vata, but don't eat too much that it spikes your kapha. And very healthy oils. I used olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. I used ghee. If you don't have any pitta imbalance, as Ishwarji was mentioning, gingerly oil, sesame oil is very good during hypothyroidism because it balances both vata and kapha. Oops. Oh, can you guys, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you can hear it.
Okay, I just lost my ears. But in hyperthyroidism, sesame oil will not work because it increases pitta. Um, Meditation is key, as Ishwarji was mentioning. That really helps for the thyroid gland as it's a communicator gland. It gives you meditation, ultimately will give you the courage to speak your truth. And when you start speaking your truth, you will heal your thyroid gland. When I say that, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the person who has thyroid disorder is a dishonest person. What I'm trying to say is having the courage to live your truth, having the courage, like I embraced Ayurveda. I don't think if I hadn't had hypothyroidism, if I didn't go through the grief period, I would ever accept thyroid. And accept Ayurveda as my lifestyle career now. I was very happy with my IT job. Why would I leave a good paying job? I would be nuts. But you get the courage to embrace the passion. You get the courage to live your life, what you want to do in life, not, getting influenced by your society, by your relatives, do this, do that. We start living to what we want. And once you start doing that, taking tiny steps, it won't be a massive change overnight. But that's what I say. When you start living that truth, thyroid gland automatically starts healing. Believe me, if you were to take one thing out of this workshop, I would say build the courage to live the truth of your life, whatever it is. You will understand what your passion is in life. You will understand what you want to be, get going with your life, because that is the truth gland ultimately. And the reason it has happened to you is it is a blessing. It is shaking you up to become who you want to become, the reason why you came onto this earth. And I feel that's a huge blessing. If you take it in that way, you will really be on the life to heal yourself.
Thank you.
Eh,
Thank you so much, Akshata. Uh, it's really a very different way of looking at lifestyle. A lot of takeaways. I'm sure all of us enjoyed. Ishwarji, you want to say something? Or any of you want to ask
I will
anything?
let others, yeah, let others speak.
Yeah.
Then I'll speak. Yeah.
Priya? Yeah. Please ask. Yeah, you have to unmute yourself. Yeah. Please, ma'am. Yeah.
You're not able to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she's on mute.
No, no, she's unmuted herself.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you want to say something, ma'am?
No, I don't think so.
This finance M, I don't know, she came on
Thank you.
video.
Thank you, Akshata. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay.
So hearing to you that, so you in US is practicing all this. So back in India, as you said, the COVID has made many of them to follow Ayurveda.
That
And
is so nice.
great job and continue, please. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
attending. Yeah, yeah. Yes, Ishwarji, you want to say something?
No, no, I think I will follow through on this discussion. I have, I knew this has been Ayurveda has a potential cure, and but it's not so easy for each individual, as Chita was saying. Individual is
Mhm.
very so custom, unique in this world that you really have to look at yourself um, and do and basically address it in all holistically, as I said,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just as an isolated okay, you take a pill for that particular gland, and it's not similar to what the regular medicine is. So that's the
Mm,
beauty of this approach, isn't it? It's a
mm,
functional medicine approach. Of course,
mm,
functional medicine itself is actually almost like a Ayurvedic approach they are getting. Actually, Ayurveda, you
mm.
see, it is a preventive medicine, isn't it? And it's almost a preventive medicine. Similarly, functional medicine also now a lot of MD doctors are practicing functional medicine. Yeah. Well, I
Good,
think
good.
I
Yeah,
have understood much more
yeah.
from Ashita, and I will definitely follow through. And
Yeah, if anyone, all of you, I request you to follow her website also, jivalifestyle.com, right?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I heard a couple of her podcasts, very interesting. So you can subscribe to that. Yeah. So I think Ishwarji can spread the word around about her, website, and people can get in touch with her definitely. Yeah.
sure, sure,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. From Rotary Connect, Akshata, thanks a lot. Yeah, probably we'll have a proper with slides and all in future sometime.
Share the
Okay.
slides, Ashita. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
can
yeah, you
share
can
the
share the
slides on.
slides. Yeah, yeah. To
Okay.
all the registered, people, I'll definitely share it across. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a
Okay.
lot. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Thank you very
everyone's
much.
time. Thank you
It's
so
late for you
much.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye
Thank you for the
bye.
opportunity. Bye.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.